Right. Let's see. Why would a speech therapist or dyslectic become a speech therapist? Well, probably because, again, nobody told me I couldn't. Second of all, a lot of speech therapists have dyslexia, believe it or not. Not all of us. It's kind of like saying all pine trees are trees. Yeah, all pine trees are trees, but all trees are not pines. And all speech therapists are not exactly the same. But there are a lot of us that have a speech language problem. So, I stuttered. Every now and then I still stutter. I tend to walk right on through it and don't act like I see it. You might hear me make some weird sound with my tongue because my tongue's frozen. Overlook it. I'll probably cut it out, so don't worry about that. I look like alfalfa. Alfalfa. Where is it, alfalfa? There it is. Okay. I'll show my age then. I don't know who alfalfa is. Anyway, when I graduated, there were 2 degrees. There was an educational degree, and there was a medical degree. And the educational people had to get a teaching degree, and the medical people had to go a lot further into it than anatomy and physiology. And while we're on that subject, it probably was a good 3 years before I ate roast beef again after dealing with cadavers. Make bad matters worse, the one that we got turned out to be the aunt of my partner. So I got to do all the cutting. And they didn't trade, and that wasn't good. That wasn't good at all. We've had some really weird situations and some things, and that would be one of them. I hated anatomy and physiology, and if I think about it too long, I won't be able to eat roast beef again, so we won't talk about that. I had 309 clinic hours in undergrad. We only required to have 150 when I was there. In my 17th year, when they took it and changed everything, they weren't required to have any clinic hours. I did some of my master's. I did some of it at South, and then I did some of it back at Montevallo. I took hearing impairment back over at Montevallo. 35 hours there. So as far as hours, I'm way ahead of the game and then some. Especially now since they don't require them, but those are SPLAs, and I'm not an SPLA. At any rate, overqualified and yet not qualified enough. Does that make sense? To be grandfathered in, you had to have 10 years by the year 2018. By the year 2018, I was finishing my 32nd year. I had some real adventures going back and forth to Mobile, including a flat tire on Dolly Parton Bridge. And if y'all don't know what Dolly Parton Bridge is, it's an infamous bridge in Mobile, and it's called Dolly Parton for a reason. So it's got huge arches. Yeah, y'all get it. And then, so like I said, in the 17th year, they decided that I had to have a medical degree, but they didn't know what to do with us, so they grandfathered us in. All of us that had clinic hours, and all of us that had no citations, and had to fill all this little stuff out. That was about that time when they were doing all that HQ stuff, highly qualified teachers. Come to find out, speech therapists and library assistants, media specialists were already considered highly qualified. My degree was a 5-year degree. I did in 4. And worked an hour away for 40 hours at least, running that PBX machine we were talking about. A PBX machine, in case y'all don't know anything, and I'm really fixing to date myself, is y'all familiar with Ruth Buzzy and One Ringy Dingy, Two Ringy Dingy? Yeah, that's, I wasn't plugging them in, I was punching it by that time we got into the punch thing and all that kind of stuff. And that was selling diamonds, and that was selling diamond rings to people. That was selling diamond rings and financing this and financing that. So that was kind of interesting. And I graduated with honors, for what that's worth. Some Dean's lists and the president's list and a couple of who's. Those who's. That's all a gimmick, y'all. I'm serious. I mean, yeah, you have to have the grades to even qualify for them to put you in it, but all they're doing is trying to sell you a book with your name in it. I don't need a book with my name in it. I know my name most days. There were 6 days I don't know if I know my name, but I do now. I've had to relearn how to talk 3 times. Well, learn how to talk 3 times. I had to learn to talk the first time, and they corrected that, so that's technically still the first time, I guess. And then I had to relearn how to talk after the car accident. And then I had to relearn how to talk after what they call propofol delirium. Again, don't give me any medications. It wouldn't pay. It was a surgery that was required, needed. It's not life-threatening that we knew of at the time, but turned out to be a little more serious. And not really a subject I want to discuss, but let's just say that I survived it. And it's a good thing we went ahead and did it when we did it, because technically I was bleeding out and we didn't know it. So I'm here for a reason, and it is definitely not for craziness. Have a good day.